Video game inspiration is clear from the start, with a consistent use of an 8-bit chiptune reminiscent soundtrack that plays throughout the entirety of the series. Hidden gaming-related Easter eggs for the viewer to find, and unsubtle dialogue bits directly parodying or attributing specific titles. For example, "Item, I choose you" is a reference to the famous Pokemon tagline among others, including "Windmill wants to fight," "I caught a Peridot," and "Don't worry Professor, we're gonna sink 'em all." Something I would consider a parody would be in the episode Onion Trade, where Steven has a fascination with collecting what are known as Guy figurines. These statuettes made me immediately think of Mega Man from its naming scheme and probable reference by use of a very similar looking stage select screen when introducing the Guy names. Not to mention Peridot's design and arm cannon being very reminiscent of the Blue Bomber. Hidden nods include gaming consoles placed in otherwise unimportant scenes, including a Nintendo GameCube with 2 cases at its side. The creators even went out of their way to make the box art for them identical to The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and Animal Crossing, as well as a mini Sega Genesis in the room of a creature known as the Heaven Beetle. Steven also plays a turn-based combat RPG on the N64, complete with a triangularly designed controller, and a game very similar to Super Smash Bros. Melee on his GameCube in the Uncle Grandpa crossover episode. In Alone Together, the DJ table wiring even consists of a Game Boy Advance and 2 standard versions of the handheld console. Aside from hardware, gaming designs and merchandise are cleverly incorporated into the show, with collectibles like a question mark block in Super Leaf, Snorlax plushie, and a gyroid from the Animal Crossing series are shown to be scattered in character Amethyst's room. Another nod to Animal Crossing is a poster in Greg's van depicting what looks like KK Slider. Steven even holds a collection of toys that resemble popular video game characters like Pikachu, Yoshi, Guitar Man from U1, PlayStation 2, a Moogle, and Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy in the style of Steven Universe's Ian Jones Cardy, the creator of RPG World, and Sonic the Hedgehog, although it looks more like his internet meme counterpart Sanic. Speaking of Sonic, Amethyst and Jasper's attack looks very similar to the Blue Blur's spin dash attack. In the episode Lion 2 the Movie, there is a machine Steven accidentally activates that attacks with both fire and ice projectiles. The robot is defeated by reflecting a ball of energy the enemy launches with a sword. The famous "It's Dangerous to Go Alone" line is also parodied in the episode Rose's Room, when Steven plays a game called Golf Quest Mini. Other nods include a monster that looks quite like Goma with an eye as a weak point, and what's clearly a jar of Lon Lon milk placed sneakily above the pantries. The interior of Mr. Smiley's arcade is seen best in the episode Arcade Mania, where certain cabinets reference real-life titles. Meat Beat Mania is a clear reference to music-based games, reminding me of the maraca peripheral shaking Samba de Amigo. Teens of Rage and its supposed 1990s 3D reboot called Virtua Teens of Rage, based on Virtua Fighter, are similar name to Streets of Rage, and similar to many games in the beat-em-up genre of the time. The games in Steven Universe are also made by Carpcom, later referred to as Crapcom by Ronaldo, its real-life equivalent being Capcom. There's even a whole episode that purposely sees an FPS reduction for character walk cycles to remind viewers of the early days of gaming when movement was blocky due to technical limitations at the time. The episode also feels very much like an action-adventure RPG and aesthetically like a world from Super Mario, complete with the hills in the background sporting smiling happy faces. Garnet even comes across characters that help her along the way, including a frog and fox that may potentially resemble a party member from Chrono Trigger, and Star Fox. The entirety of the show's color scheme, revealed on the official Facebook page, was also revealed to have been a direct inspiration from Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. Smaller things I also wanted to mention that weren't really relatable to anything else is an entire episode being named Marble Madness, Amethyst's room in the test looking like it's from the game, an attack in the show confirmed to be based off of Donkey Kong's giant punch, a warp whistle in the episode House Guest that shares the same name with and looks like the item from Super Mario Bros. 3, a super mushroom from the same franchise in Greg's storage unit, as well as nods to Five Nights at Freddy's and Pikmin in the comic series. I should also mention the iOS game called Attack the Light, which seems to be based on Mario RPGs. That was all I had for gaming references in Steven Universe, but I'm sure that there are some that I missed. If anything comes to mind, please let me know and I'll include it in the description. If you have any suggestions for future cartoon series or anime you'd like to see me cover in a video, let me know and I'll definitely consider it. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.